stand as a people with one song, with one voice. We're a nation undivided and poised. We will take a stand and build our land in faith to defend what is ours. Here we are as a people with one heart for one cause. We're determined to rebuild and restore. Where freedom reigns and truth prevails. Our land where there's hope for us all. Our land where there's hope for us all. We'll defend our land. We believe in this nation, and we know we'll get there. We'll defend our land. We believe in Nigeria and the promise she holds, and that one day we'll shine like the sun. We're a great nation. Though we are many people, different tribes, different tongues, we're united in our strength and resolve to uphold the honor of our land and for generations to come.
Okay, welcome to Integrity Summit 2026. I'm sorry we are starting late as earlier scheduled. We had a lot of glitches today, and so many things have happened, but thank God we're here. So I want to welcome everyone who is watching from wherever you are. Integrity Summit 2026 is here. Thank God for it. I'll just quickly welcome our guest because time has really gone. Our guest today is no other person than Mr. Randy Peter AKAH. This evening, he's going to be speaking to us on a topic that we have given to him, and is about the power of the people building a responsible electorate for Nigeria's future. I want us to welcome Mr. Randy Peter AKAH as he speaks on this topic. Peter, you're welcome. Thank you.
Had the problem. We don't have him again. So he's trying to log back in again.
Okay, so we should wait.
He's trying to log
Okay,
back
maybe
in
as we
again
wait, as we wait,
Mm.
can I read my speech? My
Go
opening
ahead, sir.
speech.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. Welcome to Integrity Summit 26. I'll just read my welcome address and open remarks. Good evening, distinguished guests, our esteemed speaker, respected leaders, ladies and gentlemen, joining us from across Nigeria and beyond. On behalf of Trumpet House Ministries and our partners, Oasis Strategic Integrated Solutions Limited, I welcome everyone to the fifth edition of the Integrity Summit 2026. This year's theme, Nigeria's 2027 general elections, get it right or lose out, is not merely a conference topic. It is a national call to responsibility. As citizens, we have gathered not to promote any political party or candidate, but to encourage informed participation, responsible leadership, and a culture of integrity that will shape the future of our nation. Integrity Summit was born out of the conviction that societal transformation begins with transformed people. Nations do not become great by chance. They become great when citizens choose truth over food, competence over mediocrity, justice over oppression, and service over selfish ambition. As we prepare for the 2027 general elections, we believe this is the time to educate, enlighten, and equip Nigerians to make decisions that will strengthen our democracy and secure a better future for generations to come. Over the next 3 days, we will hear from seasoned speakers who will challenge our thinking, broaden our perspectives, and inspire us to become responsible stakeholders in nation building. I encourage everyone to participate actively, ask thoughtful questions during the interactive sessions, and share the insights you receive with others. Tonight, we are privileged to begin this journey with a highly respected voice whose wealth of knowledge and passion for national development will undoubtedly enrich us. Before I conclude, I want to sincerely appreciate our speakers, partners, organizing team, media crew, and every participant for making time to be part of this important conversation. Your presence demonstrates your commitment to building the Nigeria of our dreams. With great joy and deep sense of responsibility, I hereby declare Integrity Summit 2026 officially open. Welcome, and may God bless you all. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Amen. Is he back? Okay. All right. Hero, let me welcome you officially.
Good evening, sir.
God bless you. Good evening. All right, Randy Peter AKAH, our speaker this evening, is a respected political advocate and social commentator whose work has consistently challenged Nigerians to embrace responsible citizenship. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Randy Peter AKAH. This is the second time he's appearing. He was here last year and was a blessing. Mr. Randy Peter AKAH, he speaks on the power of the people, building a responsible electorate for Nigeria's future. Peter, you have the floor.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's just such an honor and a delight to be here once again. I mean, how time flies. I can't even believe that it's 1 year already. Was it in August or it was early this year? I can't. Has it been 1 year already since the last Integrity Summit? Hey, I'm getting old. But I thank you, sir. I thank the convener, the co-speakers, the other persons who will be coming for us to learn from tomorrow and the day after, the organizers, every person, the brains behind the team, behind this incredible, event that is put together for us to enlighten ourselves and prepare in this course or journey of a better Nigeria that we all truly deserve. Tonight, we have already had some glitches with network and all of that, but it is what it is. We will try to make the best out of the little time that we have. I would not be taking so much of time because I may just want to yield to maybe taking questions. Because one thing I have come to realize in my little time spent in this space, talking about Nigeria, nation building, society, the country, and all that, I realized that Nigerians, we are moving in somewhat a circle, a vicious circle, and we just repeat the same lamentations. And almost everything that is spoken about in Nigeria today, somehow or in some forum, has been spoken about before. So there is almost no new complaint. There is almost no new meeting. The question is, as a people, at what point exactly do we agree that we have spoken enough, we have gathered enough information, we have suffered enough? So it is now time for us to convert our collective pain, collective suffering, collective anguish into passion, to take reasonable actions and steps to emancipate ourselves and for us to get a better life. Because if you repeat the same action, as a proverb or a quote will say, and expect a different result, it is insanity. What exactly is the Nigerian problem? Is it because citizens have refused to participate? Is it a leadership problem? Is it a followership problem? Is it maybe a religious problem? What exactly is our problem? And that is why the topic for tonight is very important. Building an active electorate, increasing participation of, citizens. Let me just state clearly that any country that is built, any society, from analysis, from research, from what is on ground, was built because a people deliberately decided that in spite of all the odds against us, we want to make a difference. We want to better our lives. If you look, for example, one of the greatest economic powerhouses in the world today is China. But you will agree with me that in not so far away past, China was the world's headquarters for poverty. And I'm not even talking about in the 60s or in the 50s or 40s. As recently as in the 70s, China was an extremely poor nation. But within a space of 30 to 40 years, something happened and deliberately a country moved out of extreme poverty into becoming a world power, a global power at rival with even the strongest power, maybe arguably in the world, the United States of America. So the question is, what happened? If you look at India, India has more than almost 6 times Nigeria's population, about 1 billion people. Nigeria has about 230 or so million. Unfortunately, because we do not have we have not had a census in maybe 10 or 20 years, we all do approximation. It is statistics. We estimated 2 million, estimated 200 million, estimated. And when you do not have data, how do you plan? How do you plan for development? Who are you planning for? What resources are you allocating? So that is on the one hand. So India has more than 5 times our population, but Nigeria has more poor people than per capita than the entire India. So what exactly did India do? If you look at the current Indian administration, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, following his first time in office up till this point, there are deliberate steps that are being taken to ensure you pull people out of poverty, you invest in critical areas of human development, including education, health, and all of that, innovation and technology. The Nigerian problem and challenge is simple. We have a situation and we have been able to build a system where there is absolute lack of accountability. The problem with Nigeria is that as a public office holder or as a human being who has connections to people in power, you can do absolutely anything and nothing will happen. We have been able to build a system where there are no consequences for any behavior, whether good or bad. We rather, in the reverse, build a system that rewards corruption and criminality. So in Nigeria today, if you are very corrupt as a local government chairman, you are likely to be appointed commissioner by a governor because he will need you to carry out certain criminalities within his space. If you are now very successful as a criminal in that commissioning job, you are very likely to scale up and be appointed as maybe SSG. Maybe you will then contest to become governor. The more criminal-minded you are as a governor and you are able to play your card well, the more likely you may be picked to be vice president or even amass enough wealth to run for the presidency. Or if you are not able to take that route, you go to the National Assembly that has almost become a den of unarmed robbers, people who are packed there to satisfy personal aggrandizement or self-gratification rather than protect the will and aspirations of the people. So instead of you as a people to ensure that you get leadership that is accountable, where people are committed to the national good, you have then released and kept a system that rewards criminality. And because unfortunately, beneficiaries of a corrupt system do not see anything wrong with it, the persons who are there will not want you to change that system. They will impoverish you and then weaponize those systems or policies. So poverty will become a weapon that is used against the people. Illiteracy will be used against the people. Religion will be used against the people. Ethnicity will be used against the people. Now, what exactly are the disadvantages or the outcomes of this kind of weaponization? It is that when it is done over a protracted period of time, the people become lethargic to fight for their freedom. The people become unwittingly accomplices to their own slavery because it begins from the mind. Once you are conquered as a people, you begin to believe that because you have suffered so much bad governance, good government may just be impossible, which is where, unfortunately, a good majority or number of Nigerians have drifted to. Because we have had successive bad leadership. In fact, if you call out a Gen Z today in Nigeria, they have little or no appetite to invest into a system that has proven never to work. A child that was born in the 90s, like myself, grew up to shout up NEPA. The one who was born in 2000 is shouting up NEPA. The one you will give birth to today in 2016 will shout up NEPA because Nigerians are a people who have been angry for 65 years. But unfortunately, anger is not a plan. Being dissatisfied with a system is not a strategy. Because things are this bad does not mean it will not get worse. So we have continued to be angry, but refused or unknown to us have failed to take the right steps to fixing our problems. So that is why the topic for today becomes very important. Why should people come together to ensure they get good leadership? Why is it important for persons to become very aware that as a people, you will continue to get the kind of leadership that you permit? Every person who is a part of the destruction of Nigeria today is doing it unconsciously to the people by our own approval, either by our actions or by our inactions. If the National Assembly fails to perform its duties as the National Assembly to protect the wills of the people, if the people fail to hold them accountable, we have become accomplices to the criminality and the corruption. So if we continue to see a pattern where the persons who hijack power are using it for their own selfish interests, and then we have then given up, that is why you will hear Nigerians will give you a statement and say, for example, and this is very unfortunate and frightening, do you know that for 2027 elections, there are a good number of Nigerians who already believe, and they will tell you, say, they don't already rig am. Nothing we go fit do. As I go about throughout my electoral reform campaign, when we were going about talking to Nigerians, you will see Nigerians who will tell you, say, this thing where would they do, so they think good, oh. But you know, say this country no go fit better. They don't already write the result. So it now begs the question, if it is true, say they go rig am, the question is, people of God, how many people go rig am? How many people vote they won't rig? So calculate the people where won't rig am and the people where they won't rig. So let us put together, for example, the entire political class in Nigeria. One president. Let us add 109 senators, 360 House of Reps. Let us add all the ministers. Say give them 60. They are not up to, but give it to them. Plus all the aides and appointees. Add 36 state governors. Add all the commissioners. Add all speakers of House of Assemblies and the House of Assembly members. Add all the SAs, PAs, all of them, including the ones from the fake agency under the presidency. Add it. Put all together. How many will it give you? Let us be magnanimous and say 100,000 people. As against how many people? According to INEC, in 2023 alone, 93 million people registered to vote. 87 million collected PVC. Less than 27 million came out to vote. Do you know that the current person seated as president in Nigeria is president with less than 8 million votes in a country that more than 90 million people registered to vote? That is the person who is taking decisions to affect the lives of 200 million plus human beings was voted by less than 4% of that electorate. That is what we talk about citizens' participation in electoral processes. That is what we are talking about, the topic we have today. Why is it important for people to make decisions or to take part in political conversations and in elections? Because you will hear some people will tell you that, oh, Peter, I'm not into politics. You know, say this politics not be really our thing. In fact, it is even made worse by some religious organizations. Thank God the enlightenment is going far now, and I thank God for people like Apostle who, even as religious leaders, think it is necessary to have these kinds of conversations. Because the church, religious organizations decided to give way and excuse themselves from national conversations, we gave opportunities for charlatans, scoundrels, miscreants to take over the space, and this is what we are dealing with today. Everybody is under attack, whether both the church, whether both the mosque, whether both the youth, whether both the women, because good people decided to absorb themselves of any responsibility, saying it is a dirty game. Politics na dirty game. Sweetheart, whether you are into politics or not, politics is into you. It is either you take the decisions or be a part of taking decisions that affect you, or you outsource it to charlatans to do. However, you will deal with the consequence of your actions or inactions. And that is how Nigeria gradually continue to move down the brinks. And today we have almost an avalanche, where it is like a pile of cards that crumbled. The only systems in Nigeria that is working today is corruption, crime, and criminality. Every other sector in Nigeria is in trouble. Health sector, the 2025 budget, according to the Nigerian own budget office, budgeted more than how many billion to spend more than 200 and something million for infrastructure. Less than 36 million released to the Ministry of Health. Meanwhile, for flight of the first lady of a country, in 3 months, the country spends more than 700 million, almost a billion, for the flight of the wife of the president, who is not a constitutionally recognized office or office holder. If you come to security, we are battling with insecurity, no equipment, more than 20 billion budgeted for procurement of hardware and servicing of the fleet of the Nigerian Air Force. More than 20 billion budgeted, less than 7% release. But guess what? In that same budget, more than 20 billion budgeted for maintaining the aircraft of the presidential fleet, more than 99% release for the servicing of those aircraft. So in Nigeria, we spend more money to service the fleet of the president, one person, than we service the entire Air Force as a people. But it is because we as a people are condoning it. So a government will come and people will be extremely poor. Multi-dimensional poverty. You had about 80 million people under the former leadership. Then the regime came in and took over, the same party. Then you have more than 140 million people in extreme and multi-dimensional poverty. More than 18 million children out of school. Children, 18 million. 18 million is more than the population of Rwanda. It's more than half the population of Ghana. Then you have more than 35 million people in acute hunger. 35 million is more than the entire population of Ghana, meaning you can put the entire hungry people in Nigeria in one place. It will make up a country bigger than Ghana, and you give them a process. That is, we have a country of hungry people inside Nigeria. And what has been the response of the people? We cannot do anything. They don't capture them. He go come back. They don't rig am. The vote no go count. So the question now becomes, when I meet people and I ask, how do you move from the conversation of the vote no go count to the vote must count? How many people know they count them? How many people go count them? How many people they vote? In conclusion, every system you see that works, when you talk about Japa, the average mindset of a young person in Nigeria today is, look, my friend, let me work, save some cash, get a visa, move. That is why you will see Nigerians dying in the Mediterranean Sea. Nigerians are currently stuck in prisons in Libya, in Mali, in Niger, because some are trying to use the Sahara Desert to enter Libya and then use the sea to cross into Europe. You could see the migrant crisis issues in Spain, people passing through Morocco to rush into the country. Everybody is running. You will hear Nigerians who tell you anywhere but Nigeria. As we are talking to you today, as we did this integrity summit now, there are Nigerians in Iran. There are Nigerians in India. There are Nigerians in Bangladesh. There are Nigerians in Nepal. There are Nigerians, I'm sure if you check with the war we've they go on between Israel and Gaza, there will be Nigerians in Gaza. Do you know that when the Russian-Ukraine war was at the peak, which is still ongoing, people started sending propaganda messages online. They said countries wanted to recruit to join either Russia or Ukraine. Nigerians went to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Abuja and said they wanted to enlist to go and fight war for Ukraine or Russia. And then they told them, they say, the country where they go fight, so it's one of the most, in fact, it is the most powerful in terms of nuclear weapons. So Russia, you feel go die. You know what Nigerians people talk for there? They say, now the same thing. Say here too now war. The one where we dey for here no be die. Maybe if you survive them, they go give you visa. They say they go pay you money. Yeah, make we they go. They had to begin a campaign to say, we beg you, no go fight war. Try stay here. If you see Gary drink, any hasata hold you, make you the manager, make you the manager. Nigerians say he prefer to go war for Ukraine than to stay in country. But the question will be, how did the countries that we want to always jack back to, how did they become those countries? What built America? What built China? What built Russia's economy? How did Britain become that great? Italy, France. Let us not go too far. Few years ago, under a president in Ghana, you will hear people will call Ghana cedi. They will say 50,000 Ghana cedi to pay taxi man, because what is it called? The cedi, the currency lost complete value. Today, the cedi is rated to be one of the strongest currencies across the West African region. What happened? So I'm not going to Ghana now. I'm not going to the US or Europe. I'm talking about Ghana. Ghana is 1 hour or about 5 minutes from Nigeria. What did they do? What exactly is being done? The current Ghanaian president, John Mahama, used to be president before. He lost election and handed over to the former president, Nana Addo Akufo-Addo. Nana Akufo-Addo was president for 8 years, and when he was to leave last year, he contested, or last 2 years, last year or so, the person who wanted to contest who contested actually in his party was the incumbent vice president, Alhaji Muhammadu Bawumia. Bawumia contested the election against John Mahama, who was a former president, and before evening of that election, Bawumia called Mahama, that is the sitting vice president, called Mahama to congratulate him. You know why? When I went to throughout my campaign, the only place I have visited, I never leave Nigeria before. Now INEC Wahala carry me leave the country. I went to the Electoral Commission of Ghana. Incidentally, they were holding by-elections. One of their member of parliament died, so they needed to replace some seats and all that. So one of the officials told me, say, it's not official because you think we are busy now, but just watch what we are doing. One statement that struck me said, here, we conduct elections so that bad leaders cannot reward themselves with more power. And I paused for a moment. I said, in my country, the reverse is the case. So we conduct elections so that corrupt leaders can perpetuate themselves in power. And when they are leaving, they install a stooge who can cover up their criminality, because the fear is that if you hand over to an opposition, a lot of records that will come out may be very damning to you. So you see, our own INEC chairman was even visited Ghana. The former INEC chairman, the professor of glitches, went there to teach them, claiming to teach them on a process that he failed to implement in his country. Dear people, systems are built and democracies thrive when citizens participate. There is no country where power comes from the people, where leaders act as irresponsibly and as reckless as Nigerian leaders. There will be no country where a fake agency will come out of the presidency with a budget, go through the National Assembly, get a budget code, get staff from the office of the Accountant General, open accounts with the central bank of the country, and we are still seated. Not one person is relieved or put on suspension or sent on leave while investigation is going on. The only reason is because there are no consequences and the people will not act. So if you know that you have built a system that rewards criminality and corruption, the reverse effect is that the citizens and ordinary Nigerians will continue to pay dearly for their lives, because corruption in any sector is mass murder. Corruption with health is mass murder. Corruption with security is mass murder. That is why today you will see a kidnapping happen in a state like Oyo, and the governor of the state is coming out to tell you that I am not sure of the account of this abduction. It should be investigated independently. So if you fail to hold people accountable, you may think that we are going free. Everybody will tell you, say, make adjust the hustle. You can become a victim of a system you chose to ignore as a people. Everybody must come together and know that no human person in this country is safe until everybody is safe. Whatever we chose to ignore today will come back to haunt us tomorrow. If we fail to take 18 million out of school children out of the streets, tomorrow we will be dealing with multi-dimensional insecurity and terrorism, because we have created a fertile breeding ground for criminals and terrorists, because we failed to take care of children. No human being was born a terrorist or a kidnapper or whatever it is. You are an open slate. What you chose is put on you, on the society that you thrive or you grew. So my people, if we want to build ourselves as an electorate, 2027 presents another opportunity. You must know that great nations are nations that are built by resilient people. If you begin to lose hope, we begin to die. Do not get to a point where you think that because you have tried before, it has become impossible to change. All of us have families. You have family problems. I have not seen people who came out to change family name, who say because my child was giving me a problem, or my papa was giving me a problem, my family was giving me a problem, so I am no longer a member of that family. You strive to fix it. Nigeria can be fixed. The question is, do we have the determination, the zeal, the hope and belief to know that we can if we come together? Look at the United States. President Donald Trump is running everywhere now to defend and to fulfill his campaign manifesto. Why? US does not even give you 4 years. In November, he is facing midterm elections. That is the most powerful person in the world. Midterm elections, it means either House or Senate can flip to Democrats. It makes your job as the president more difficult. So you must show the people that the first 2 years since you came, your priorities with which they voted you in is what you have been paying attention and focus to. In Nigeria, the hope and the confidence of corrupt politicians is a rigged electoral process. Guess who has surrendered that process? It is we, the people. So I want to admonish us, I want to enjoin us to know that nobody should tell you that Nigeria cannot be great. Nobody should tell you that Nigeria's problems are too difficult or insurmountable. It is up to the millions of Nigerians who are overwhelming in the majority, in the suffering, in the pain, to know that when you come together and take the right decision, as 2027 is approaching, ensure you get your voter's card. Ensure you participate. Tell somebody to know that the rescue of your life, my life, the rescue of children on the streets, the rescue of people who are in the hospitals without medical treatment will depend on the actions that we will take on the day of the presidential election, National Assembly election, governorship election, and the state houses of assembly. Once that is done, you begin to send a signal that it is possible to hold the powerful accountable, that you want to build a system that rewards integrity, that rewards dignity, that rewards hard work, that rewards service, and a system that punishes corruption, crime, and criminality. And have it at the back of your mind that when the people stick together, we succeed because the power of the people is greater than the criminals in power. Thank you, and I yield.
All right, thank you very much, sir, for that wonderful, wonderful session. We tend to have lost Apostle. Okay, he's back. I believe he's back now. Okay, he's back, so he'll take over from it. Sir, please unmute yourself.
Peter for Nigeria.
Yes, sir.
I want to just give some somehow when you were speaking, you've answered so many questions that I actually have put here, but I want to just put some questions directly to you, which I know will
Yeah.
help this conversation tonight. They are punchline questions. Maybe you can just say one or two things. Now, the first one, many Nigerians believe their votes will not count, which part of what, when you were speaking, you said it. How can citizens regain confidence in the electoral process and still remain committed to voting?
It is by understanding exactly the consequence of that vote not counting. When you make a statement and you have believed that your vote will not count, do not end there. Think for a moment and say, since my vote has not been counting, what has been the result on the quality of my life? That is why today you now have extreme poverty. That is why you have the school fee and the school children out of school. That is why you do not have power. That is why businesses cannot thrive. That is why today you cannot travel. Everybody is running to travel by air because there are some communities that you cannot even go to. Insecurity is ravaging people. That is why we have made kidnapping become a multilateral business and economic investment in Nigeria. That is why people will steal money as governors. EFCC will fail to prosecute them. They will come back for Senate and there is nothing you can do. Meanwhile, you go to that same state where somebody stole 100 billion. There is no paracetamol in a primary health care facility. That is why doctors are continuously going on strike. Nurses will go, teachers will go, engineers will go, civil servants will go. Why? Because votes have failed to count. So once you begin to understand the direct implication of votes not counting to the kind of dysfunctionality and the bad quality of life that you have, then it begins to push you to the section where you move to the conversation to it will not count to it must count. And with every step that you take, with that determination collectively, with every electoral cycle, you build on the gains that you have made, and gradually you know that nation building is not a sprint, it is a marathon. If you try, you do not get it right, keep trying, because our success lies in our not giving up.
Now, another thing I wanted to address, thank you very much, Peter. is vote buying.
Yes.
Who is also trying to run for an elective post, and he
Mm.
told me that look, vote buying is say has become deeply embedded in our electoral system. So, what
Yes.
realistic strategies can citizens adopt to resist this culture despite economic hardship? And we know that's the reason why people are going there to get money and vote. So, what strategies can we adopt to resist this culture?
It may have multiple approaches, one or two or maybe three. The first fundamental question will be, why do they buy votes? Why should somebody give you cash or some money to buy your vote? Why? What is the quality of your life and your wants? How desperate do you be for a person to give you, and how much is the vote being bought for? So, for example, if they bought vote for 5,000 naira in 2023, and in 2027 or 26, somebody is still buying vote for about 3 to 5,000 naira. What is the quality of growth you had economically as a human being? So it goes beyond just the issue of just vote buying to the kind of debasement, if there is a word like that, of the human life or the human person. That human beings can sell their entire destinies and futures for the next 4 years for a paltry sum. Sometimes maybe not even cash. It can be maybe rice. It can be tomato. It can be anything. And then on the person you were talking about, it is actually a thing, because my involvement in the political space, the lessons I have learned within the last few weeks or months of my life have been something you can write an entire book about. In fact, when they tell you about, say, politicians, you have capacity. In Nigeria, sometimes that capacity is closer to criminality. So when they are telling you about capacity, what it means is that be able to match them at every point. So if it comes to mobilization of thugs, mobilize more than them. So you are showing capacity. If they say they won't rig, make sure say you say you they rig your own. You they show capacity. Where there is vote buying, ensure say you are buying more. You are showing capacity. So now it has become so bad that vote buying has become a special budget for politicians going into election. Because in some cases, like in the last Anambra election, according to reports, votes were bought for as high as 15, 20,000 per vote. So when you see a government that for 3 years do not implement budget, do not pay contractors, and you are seeing a lot of money being hoarded, there is scarcity. What exactly is it being kept for? To use to buy votes. So it is up to people to ask ourselves the question. You sold votes in 2012 or 2015 election. You sold votes in 2019. You sold in 2023. If you still need to sell votes in 2027 to survive, are you sure you are not the problem? Maybe you should then do the right thing and see whether, if you are economically okay and you are able to take care of your immediate needs, if your business is thriving, if there is power and electricity and you are able to run your shop, you know they buy fuel. If fuel is cheap, you are able to pay transportation at a cheaper rate. Are you sure you will need 5,000 naira to sell votes for 4 years? Because you don't they sell and they come. Your life no better, they change no better, people die more, insecurity more. In fact, some people will sell votes for 2019, kidnapper fit don't carry on. So when you look at the consequences, you then ask yourself, for how long? How much is my life worth? How much is the quality of my destiny? And then we know that when it comes to elections, whatever that is given to you is not worth the quality of life that you deserve for yourself if you get a good government that you truly believe in.
Although before we took this initiative to do this as our theme for the year, so well, General, it was something I heard in my spirit, and it was like this: if we don't get this one right, this 2027, it will be really, really, there will be dire consequences. And that's why
Ab-
after the major team, yeah, after the
yeah.
major team, there's a sub team. You say, get it right or lose out. You know
Yes.
what I saw will happen if we don't get this one right. That's why I feel this should conscientize and draw attention to Nigerians that look, 2027 election is not just what we should just see and just feel. I beg, like you said, they have already rigged it, or they somehow you can see
Yeah.
what is happening. INEC is, I don't know, deliberately you see that they are not allowing people
Yes.
to do what they're supposed to do, and
Yes.
and it's funny. So I will just ask another question. Maybe in one way you can also speak. What role should religious institutions, traditional rulers, and civil society organizations play in raising a political informed and responsible electorate? 2027 is already here, and it's not what
Yes.
so people are just, you see us, we're just going about our normal activities, but we have something coming up that, look, if we all play our parts differently,
Yeah.
like the institutions I mentioned, religious leaders, uh, uh, traditional
Traditional.
rulers, and some organizations. If we do what we need to do, we will get it right and things will be
Yeah.
better. So the question again, I'll repeat to you, Randy Peter, is what role should these institutions play, in raising a politically informed and responsible electorate? I don't know if you understand that question. Please just
Of
see how you
course,
can work
absolutely.
and speak to
And
it.
it's a very important question. But let me begin by also commenting on your initial statement about the subtext you put in the title of this year's Integrity Summit. You either get it right or lose out. Let me say it unequivocally here today that Nigeria is in very strange times. I will just say this. If you elect leaders, when a country is run by leaders and you elect your leaders, what you can expect to get is leadership and governance. But when you hand over a country or allow criminals to hijack your governance system, what you will expect to get is a carnival of thieves. What we call government in Nigeria today is a travesty. If Nigerians fail to fix and correct the error that is going on today by 2027, we may never be able to recognize what we call Nigeria as a country. It is different when there is criminality around a society. And then it becomes more problematic when the cartel becomes the persons who are running the system. When criminality becomes state-sponsored, every person is a potential victim. And that is where Nigeria is today. That Nigeria is in a situation where, according to Dr. Omole, the person, he wrote a book. Are you aware that sometimes when you are going to pay ransom, families of victims, they will pass through, according to reports, a military checkpoint. And military officers will take out of the ransom. And when they get to the terrorists or the criminals and give them, they will count and see that it is short of some cash. And the people will tell them that it is the people at the checkpoint who took out of the ransom, and the terrorists will say, it's okay. Oh, now them think you can go. Apostle, terrorists, kidnappers, and the country's military have an understanding. As we are talking today, Nigeria is looking for more than 200 trillion from NMPC alone. 200 trillion is more than the entire national debt of Nigeria. The whole money we are owing is not up to 200 trillion yet, as at now. One agency, according to their own reports, not an external audit, NNPC own audit say more than 210 trillion unaccounted for. Imagine what will happen if you go and audit FIRS, Custom, NIMASA, NDDC, all of them, immigration. So that is what we have as a country. It is up to Nigerians. I went to my own hospital in the place where I'm contesting now, Ugoja Yala. I went to the General Hospital Ugoja where I was born. In the entire Cross River State Ministry of Health, we have less than 14 medical doctors. The whole Cross River, 18 local government. When I went to the General Hospital, a doctor was setting drip for a child with phone touchlight like this. In a general hospital. That is the hospital where I was born. So when you talk about get it right or lose out, it must be taken seriously. 2027 should not be about one party against any party. It is about a failed and criminal system, an evil system against more than 200 million victims. Only we can rescue ourselves. On the question of religious leaders, I was having a conversation with someone today, and I said clearly that Nigeria has gotten to a point where I can tell you that with what is happening and we call religion or religiosity in this country, I fear religion now more than the devil. We have been able to push ourselves with a certain kind of doctrine and narrative to believing and making people believe that everything we go through is spiritual. It is incumbent on religious traditional leaders as being the moral conscience of a society to speak truth to power. Like what we just saw now with the Catholic Bishops' Conference. You could see the reaction from the leader, from the presidency, because they were never expecting it. They are used to people coming to sycophant around them, to sing on your mandate, you shall collapse, and all of those, whatever it is, theatrics. As a people, first of all, we must ask ourselves the question, if we continue to pray without sensitizing people to take care of their government, what exactly are we calling upon God to do? Today, the average life expectancy of a Nigerian is less than 55 years. The person in Canada is about 70 or 80 years old. A Nigerian will die at 55 or 50. They will say, God has called you home. But God did not call the 80-year-old man in Canada. Is it that God is so interested in you coming home, or God is not interested in you having a good life here on earth? If we continue to say we should pray and pray and pray, how do you pray for 65 years and you become the world headquarters of poverty? You pray for 65 years and became the third most terrorized nation in the world. When we came with independence and started prayers, we were at about $1 to 1 naira. I saw tickets in those days of tickets from Lagos to London, less than 1,000 or 5,000 naira. We prayed for 65 years. And today, tickets from even Abuja to Lagos, Abuja to Calabar, you will hear tickets of almost 100 or 200,000. So what exactly is the prayers that has built Dubai, where our religious leaders today go to have conferences and seminars? It is one of two things. It is either you are a liar or God is a liar, and God cannot be a liar. Everything that pertains to life and godliness he has given unto you. He said he lives in the heavenly places. The earth he has given to the sons of men. What we make of this world is what God has empowered us to do. The greatest invention of God was the creation of man. He said, he told him, look at the animals. Whatever you call it is what it is. What are we calling Nigeria? What are we doing to fix our infrastructure? We cannot be led with pillar of cloud in a day, pillar of fire at night, and then religious and traditional leaders have bulletproof SUVs with about 4 mopo attached to them. Who is deceiving who? It is time for every person to come out and speak the truth and know that more than 70% of what you spend time praying and shouting and making God seem like he is deaf are issues that will be fixed by an efficient working system, governance system. Once government works efficiently, your relationship with God becomes easier. It is sweeter for you to pray because you are not under pressure. You cannot be praying for good road. You cannot be praying for light. God does not work in NEPA. God has given you opportunity, hydro, solar, carbon, everything. Why do you not have power? Do you want God to come and be your minister for power? So as it is today, whether you're a religious leader, a traditional leader, everybody must know that you have a duty to speak truth, enlighten people to know that all of the suffering and pain we are casting and binding and losing and all of that are issues that will be fixed if systems are working. Children should go to school. It should not be a prayer point to get admission. It should not be a prayer point that you will write JAM, you will pass. You write WAEC, you pass. You got the post UTME. You still they pray. Why? Because somebody who is criminal and corrupt is taking out names to put people that may not even have passed. The system is flawed. So it is the duty of all of us, and that is why we must continue to appreciate every religious leader, traditional leader, who take it upon themselves to enlighten the people, to know that the duty of building government, for systems to work, it is government to work. And for government to work, it is the people that will decide. It is not prayers alone. Prayers are faith without works in itself is dead.
All right, sorry, I think sorry we lost Apostle. So I will just ask one more question, then I believe we will now call it a night. There's a
All right.
question that came in that how can Nigerians move away from voting based on ethnicity, religion, and political sentiments to making issue based and competence driven electoral decisions?
I think the answer is simple. In all of the times of ethnicity and voting based on tribe, what has been the outcome? I think as a people, they said an unexamined life is not worth living. If you cannot evaluate the outcome of decisions and actions, then it is insanity. If you look at the trajectory of Nigeria since 1960 till date, of the about 16 or so heads of states, more than 10 have been from the northern region alone. In fact, within 1999 and dates, of the presidents we have had, 2 of them have come from Katsina State alone. Do you know that under the late Buhari, there was a day Buhari visited his home state of Katsina. He went to Daura. The day the president arrived Daura, kidnappers went to a community that was a few kilometers from the president's home village to pack children from a school in Kankara or Kagara. That is the sitting president. So the question will now be, what exactly was the benefit of having the president from your state to the people of the state? In Nigeria today, which part of the country is enjoying more than the other? The Niger Delta, where you have oil that have been servicing the whole of Nigeria. If you go there, go to the riverine communities, go to Brass, go to Sagbama, go to the creeks, you will pity the life of the children and the women and the youth and men there. These are people where oil is drilled and taken out every day, billions. How did it benefit them? The corruption and criminality that destroyed the region happened with the cooperation of leaders from the region. It is not just outsiders who came and destroyed. People were there on ground, put hand, help, and support it. When international criminality meets local greed, the result is what you see. When the President Tinubu came as leader, remember that when one Kabiyesi was killed in Ekiti, a woman who was crying in the palace was saying, hey, now good Kabiyesi o, and your dada ni o. Say the time when they do election, he say, Edibo fun APC, Edibo fun APC o. All of that. Say the man was at the polling unit telling them, make them vote for APC, make them vote for APC o. And the advent as Tinubu administration reached in May, one of the first set of people where terrorists use as a festival of killing was that Kabiyesi. The Kabiyesi who was saying, Edibo fun APC o. Tiwantiwa ni o, àwa ló kàn. Na our turn o, Yoruba ronú o. So really, under Yoruba president, Yoruba Kabiyesi was killed, and the Yoruba president did not even think it was even necessary to visit a Kabiyesi who spent his life campaigning for you. So when you continue to analyze, if you go, for example, in a state like Benue, you go to Benue, they say we are being marginalized. They say, since 1999, only thief people are being governor in Benue State. You came from Akume to Suswam to Samuel Otom to now you have a high Centralia. They say Idoma Day now, Igede Day. And then I now even ask the question, since for 20-something years, only thieves have been governors. This insecurity and killings that have been going on in Benue, have those 4 governors been able to protect the thief land sufficiently that only the Idomas and Igede people are being killed, or the killing is for everybody? They say, oh, na general, Agatu, Gwe, Guma, Otukpo, Ogbadibo, Okpoku, everybody they suffer. Say really. So it then means until you understand that competence and capacity cannot be slaughtered or exchanged on the altar of tribalism, religion, or ethnicity, we have not grown in our human understanding to help ourselves. So do you prefer a failure that is from your tribe or a competent leader from somewhere else? In the US today, who is asking what state you are from? Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump ran together for president. They were both residents of the US state of New York. What is their business? Can you get the job done? So if you continue to preach ethnicity in the 21st century, in 2026, you are part of the problem. Look at the quality of your life. Look at the quality of leadership that you have. Look at the people from that your own tribe. If it's a thief, are you ready to support the thief because it's from your tribe? So you support criminality when it favors you or when it is from your side. It only becomes criminality when it is from another person's side. That is the question we should ask ourselves. What have been the benefits of ethnic voting, of tribal voting, of religious voting? What have been the benefits of having northern leaders from the north? More than out of the 18 million out of school children, more than 12 million is from the north alone. A region that has produced more than 10 heads of states. What did it benefit the people? Let us get leaders that can take care of human beings. Let's get human beings who have the capacity, character, competence, compassion to lead people, build a nation, and give us the society that we all deserve. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you. I know it's a busy day for you, but you still took out time to, ensure that this happened. I'll just ask one last question. If every Nigerian watching this summit today or at any time could take just one action immediately after this session to contribute to a better Nigeria, what would you want that action to be?
Make sure you are actively involved in 2027 elections. I think the INEC voting.
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay, I said make sure you actively involve yourself in the 2027 elections. I think the INEC voter registration has ended.
I didn't hear you. Okay.
Oh my God. I don't know if it's network. Please, can you hear me,
Go
sir?
ahead. I think you yeah.
Yes, I said
I'm hearing you. I think you can go ahead, sir.
You must ensure that you actively commit and participate in the 2027 elections. Refuse to believe any story that the elections are rigged. Refuse to believe that you cannot make change. Refuse to believe that there is nothing that you can do. Understand that the power of the people is in their unity to liberate themselves. If you do not rescue yourself, there is no Messiah coming from anywhere. We are our own help and rescue. God has given us everything we need. Let us use it. If you have not collected voters card, ensure you collect. I don't know if it has closed. If you have it, do not keep it as an ID card. Make sure you vote. And when we are voting in 2027, it is not the usual say you vote and go away. Ensure that your votes count. Ensure that we stay to defend and protect our votes so that the majority of the people will have their way and will have their say. to know that the results that will be announced will be a true reflection. And then when that is done, commit to every step of nation building. Be involved. Know that you are not a leader because you held a position. You are a leader before you are voted into a position. So wherever you are, continue to be a change maker. The little contribution you are making at your own corner can make a huge difference. In 2027, it begins with participating and voting the right candidates that have a track record of character, competence, commitment, and compassion to the national good.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Peter. Thank you for your time. Thank you for all you're doing to ensure that Nigeria becomes what it is intended for it. We want to thank you for tonight. Those who joined us online, I want to thank you for us to share this video. Share this video to as many that could watch. All right, so that from all the things we've heard tonight, can learn from it. Okay, many of us can learn from it, and also those of us who are chatting on YouTube, I want us to appreciate our guest tonight. I tell you, I've been trying to reach him online, calling. I didn't even know that today's meeting will hold, but look at him. So I don't know. I know the place of sacrifice is also important for us, as because many of us will just say, we can't. Effort to frustrate Nigerians to get their PVCs and all that.
Yes.
But hey, we must try and push and see how we can contribute our own quota to see that Nigeria gets it right in 2027. So I want to thank everyone for tonight. Tomorrow we're going to continue on this. We'll have Dr. Helen Goswell. Dr. Helen Goswell Peter had run for the post of the president for twice in Nigeria. She came from the US to run for this position, and she was frustrated. Twice, 2015, 2019. In fact, the 2019 zone, I was like a PA. I was the one carrying her bag in Abuja and all that, and I saw how all of these things pans out. You know that political parties and all that, all the things they did, and she couldn't really do anything, so she left. So thank you. I think we should call tonight a wrap. But if you have last words, Peter, if you want to say, you can still just share that before we leave. Thank you.
Oh, no, nothing to add. Just to say thank you. Thank you to you for this vision. Okay. Thank you to the team. I want you to know that no matter the frustrations that come with putting up events like this, it is important. The more we talk to our people, the more we enlighten ourselves, the better for us. And sometimes this kind of conversation, to some people, they get tired that with Nigeria, go feel better. But with the little enlightenment we are giving, people are waking up to the understanding that change is possible if we do it. So I am just filled with gratitude. My apologies for not taking, because we have been in a long, the whole thing. What you are talking about, the guest for tomorrow, make we not even talk the story for now. Let us just go ahead and believe that God is going to do his work, but it is a lot. It is a whole awful lot, and we just need to keep at it and do what we can do. So that is what we are on to now, because I'll be leaving to go back home again to continue my campaigns as it begins by August. So I'm very grateful. Thank you for having me once again, and I wish you a very successful summer.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Peter.
Thank you
so much, everyone, for tonight. Integrity Summit 1 wrap up for today. How everything has gone. I tell you the truth, it's God intended to be, because it was looking like it wasn't going to hold. But hey, we have done the one. I want to thank God for everything. Tomorrow we're going to start earlier than this. We're believing that we'll not have all of these glitches that we have. All right. So I want to thank my media person who is at the back end, here for all that you. Thank you so much. 8 p.m. we will be here, and Dr. Helen Naomi Godswill will be speaking to us. That's one I know. She has a lot of experiences that she'll be sharing with us. On behalf of the planning committee, all right, I want to sincerely appreciate everyone who made today's heartfelt gratitude goes to our distinguished speaker and Peter for his insightful and thought-provoking presentation on the topic that he was given. So thank you for sharing your knowledge, wisdom, and passion for a better Nigeria, Peter. God bless you. We'll see you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Here we stand as a people with one song, with one voice. We're a nation undivided and poised. We will take a stand and build our land in faith to defend what is ours. Here we are as a people with one heart for one cause. We're determined to rebuild and restore. Where freedom reigns and truth prevails, our land where there's hope for us all. Our land where there's hope for us all.